Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kopano Ramashala, founder and managing director at Bakwena Telecommunications. Now in this episode, I decided that I'll not go the route where I'll be just preaching to the gospel, but instead I'll be engaging with you guys, my loyal subscribers and those that just jump in every now and then that stumble upon my channel. How I'll be doing this is answering some questions that I have been getting in the comments and via email. So it's mostly some of the common questions that I'll cover, so a lot of the people can be answered with ease. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. So, the most common question that I've been getting is, how does one contact you directly? Well, there's only one way to contact me directly, and that is via email. Email address is in the description. Also up here on the screen, it reads info@kopanoramashala.co.za. Now, I do implore you and do beg you not to bother our administration staff via our WhatsApp line, calling the line or texting the line wanting to speak to me directly, as that won't be possible. They are there for a reason, for our customers and potential customers, and anything relating to these YouTube videos, kindly drop me that email at info@kopanoramashala.co.za. Now, that's the most common question out of the way. Now we'll move on to another question. I'll have the comments around here somewhere for you guys to see. It's a question from Alhaji Rashid Kamara. His comment reads, very detailed and well explanatory. Can you make a video on how to use ISP with the physical SIM cards or eSIMs, and how IP transit can help with high-speed bandwidth for 2,000 to 50,000 clients? Thanks in advance. Now, I'll be answering the first part of this question, which is SIM cards and how to be basically a mobile network operator by only doing data SIMs. It may be uncapped, unlimited data SIMs, or capped. It's up to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you this. Doing SIM cards is the hardest thing you can try to do. First things first, we'll talk about the SIMs themselves and the cost thereof. SIM cards in South Africa cost between 2 and 5 rand. That's to make them. That depends on whether it's branded or not branded. Is it special looking, see-through, etc., etc. Now, that is the cost per SIM card. The people who manufacture SIM cards have a minimum order quantity. Last time I checked, that minimum order quantity was 500,000. So that means if a SIM card costs between 2 and 5 rand, you need to order 500,000 at 2 rand. How much is that? That's 1 million South African rand. So that's what you need just for the SIM card only, for it to be manufactured, printed. It's not encoded with any information or anything like that. Now they also, obviously the SIM card manufacturers also provide a service to encode certain information on those SIM cards so they can reach your network, and that's another cost on top. So that's just the crux of it. Number 2 comes the actual network that you need to run those SIM cards. Well, I know not everyone has the bankroll to build towers tall as 32 meters, put on 4G, 5G equipment on there every so many kilometers to have coverage across a country. That's a lot of money. A lot of the mobile network operators did that over years and years and years. And you're not going to just come up in one day or a couple of months and expect to do that. So that's where it comes. I mean, building a tower its own beyond 15 meters requires a lot of loopholes or a lot of hurdles for you to jump. I mean, so it's something that not everybody can do and not do it very easy. Even the biggest MNOs have problems with getting permits for setting up towers in certain places because of the admin behind it that is required. That being said, the equipment on the towers, it's also quite expensive, those radios. So it's not something that someone could do very easily, like you and me that's watching this channel. But who knows, maybe some of you behind this camera that are watching have a rich Saudi Arabian uncle that passed away and you need to go and claim your inheritance. You know? So yeah, who knows? But yeah, that's the beginning of it, you know what I mean? And sure, you can have another option. You can try and leverage the mobile network operators' equipment by, you know, going via the MVNO route. That's the newest trend, mobile network virtual operator. So that's what you'll be. But still, they require a certain upfront fee for setup. Most of it's around about R500,000, if not more. Some it starts from 5 million Rand just to set things up for you, to say, okay, we're onboarding you, this is who you are, and this is how you will be running through our network. And then you still need the relevant backhaul, meaning you still need the relevant data behind it. You'll still need to actually configure that network, and they're still going to charge you for that. So you need to be, what can I say, very moneyed. Hence, you'll see a lot of big brands like banks are going the MVNO route because they've got money for days. They're a bank, you know what I mean? So that's that. So some would also say, hey, what about eSIMs, you know? Sure, there's the eSIM route. However, it's also got a downside. Not everyone has a phone that is eSIM compatible. I mean, for example, in terms of Apple phones, you're going to need an iPhone 11 and above. Android phones, you're going to need the latest, for example, if it's a Samsung, the latest S phone. If it's a Huawei, I mean, Huawei's, I think there's only 10 that are compatible with eSIMs thus far. So your market will be pretty much limited. And I think these SIM cards, these data SIM cards, majority of the people would be using them in mobile routers. So is there a mobile router that is eSIM compatible? Not that I know of. So that's it. That's the first part of this gentleman's question. The second part, he was talking about how IP transit can help him with high-speed bandwidth for 2 to 50,000 clients for this solution. IP transit, how can I explain it? IP transit is connection to the internet as a whole. So for example, if I'm housed in South Africa, I'd want IP transit that can connect to networks that are in Australia, the US, Europe, and so on and so forth. So what IP transit helps you is it's a connection between your current data center, for example, you're in South Africa, and the rest of the world. You don't need a lot of bandwidth for that. Why do I say that? For example, we only use a gigabit of IP transit. And some might be asking, why? Just a gigabit, that's a little. We don't have a lot of traffic that is going across the world. There's minimal websites that are hosted, for example, in the US or in Australia or in Europe that South Africans would want to access. Why I'm saying this again? Services like your Netflix, your YouTube that you're watching this video on, your Facebook, they have servers that are housed at a data center, for example, here in South Africa. And we link together with those networks via something that we call IXP, an Internet Exchange Point. Therefore, we no longer will need an IP transit to connect to Netflix servers that are housed in the US. We simply connect via the Internet Exchange directly to Netflix. Hence, you'll notice when you're using your internet or Wi-Fi, it's always quick for your Netflix to load, your Facebook to load, your Instagram to load, your YouTube to load. But when you go somewhere else, it loads quick, but it's not as quick as those couple of services. That's because your ISP has interconnected with that network via the Internet Exchange Point and vice versa. So the route is quick, the route is just simple to those services. So that's that. Your question is quite relative. For 2,000 subscribers, I think a gig, 10 gigs of IP transit would be sufficient. It solely depends on what services or what websites do people in your country normally access and what's available in your local internet exchange point. Because most of your traffic will probably just be moving to your internet exchange point. I mean, if you've got Azure services, if you've got your Microsoft services, your Amazon services, that are located in your data center and internet exchange point, traffic will simply be moving to that, and you won't need much of that IP transit. So IP transit doesn't make the connection any faster, it's just connecting you with the World Wide Web, as per se, from your data center point in your country. So I think that's pretty much answered. I'll move on to another question that's commonly used. It's what sector or access point can I use on my P2MP base station? So P2MP is peer to multi-peer base station. So it relates to the WISP videos we were talking about. Now, this is another relative question. However, what I would suggest for someone who's starting and would later, grow the ISP, I would suggest in the now to get yourself a MikroTik Munt Box 15S AX. Now, the AX stands for it's Wi-Fi 6 compatible, meaning there's a greater capacity for you to use on the access point itself. MikroTik claims you can connect up to 125 users on that. So it'll give you, give or take in the real world, 80 to 100. That's a steal for 90 degrees. Now if you have 360 of that, that means you'll have 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. So you'll have, give or take, 400 subscribers on one base station. And that'll give you quite good revenues if you can do that. So that's what I would suggest. And obviously, once the user subscription grows, or if you're targeting more and more, if you'd like greater capacity, or maybe you don't like the integrated antenna and you'd like antenna radio and antenna, you can still go for the MikroTik Dead Metals or the Netbox. It's quite affordable as well. The AX versions, which are also Wi-Fi 6 compatible, and you can buy whatever type of radio you want to, whatever type of antenna you want to attach to it and broadcast your signal. So that's that question answered. Now I want to go to another question here. Hopefully it's not the last question, but yeah. It's from Baruti Barwani. Baruti Barwani, yeah, 2017. I like how you're explaining things in a very fun way. I have gigabit bandwidth. What is the correct and right formula to use when creating client packages? Now, what can I say? You must think about what we call a contention ratio. So a contention ratio means how many times do you want to split 1 megabit? What you need to understand in the ISP game is one thing. Not everybody will be using their full 10 meg line, 100 meg line, 80 meg line, wire, so flat line, always clock like a gusheshe, getting spin by katra. No, that doesn't happen. There's some people that will sign up for a 20 meg line but are always using 5 megs because they're simply just using their phones. And their phones watching a 1080 or 720p video on YouTube doesn't need 20 megs or 20 megs. You know what I mean? So they just use 5 megs and it ducks down. So what you'll notice when you're like watching a YouTube video like this, there's that white thing that goes ahead of the actual cursor. Some people call it a buffer. That's what we say. So basically, your internet connection keeps downloading that video in chunks, and it downloads it ahead. So every maybe 5, 10 or 30 seconds, it downloads a chunk that's 30 seconds or a minute long. And that only needs 5 megabits per second. So it'll keep doing that and doing that. That means if you've got 100 users that are watching or streaming or downloading, their internet connection or whatever they're downloading or streaming won't use their internet connection at the same time simultaneously. So you'll find client A with the YouTube video that's streaming in 4K and it'll take 10 megs and it'll die down because it's already downloaded that chunk. And user B that's using Netflix, for example, they're watching in 1080 and it downloads a chunk once that one is downloaded a chunk. So it keeps going up, down like that, you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is at any single point, you won't be able, I would say all users won't be using the full meg at the same time. It'll be this one, this one, this one, this one. So that's where contention ratio comes in. How many users do you want to share 1 meg? Since they won't be using the 1 meg at the same time together. You can say, I want 10 users to use 1 meg. So meaning 1 megabit per second divided by 10, you know? And then you'll get your formula, what you'll be giving them each at a given time. So that's how it works. So with a gig, I would say I can squeeze 1,000 people in that gig because now it's 1 gigabit per second is equals to 1,000 megabits per second. I would squeeze 1,000 clients into that. You know what I mean? And that would be my contention ratio. So I would say, what is the contention ratio that I'll be using there? Think about it. If you've got a 10 meg package, 20 meg package, or let's make it simple, you've got a 10 meg package for all of your subscribers. Now, if you've got 1 gigabits per second, that means you've got 1 meg times 1,000. So if you would have 100 subscribers times 10 meg, that gives you your 1 gigabit per second. You know what I mean? So that's sort of a 1-to-1 contention ratio where everybody's getting their full 10 meg wire. Now, if you say, I want mine to be 1-to-10 contention ratio, that means you'll have 1,000 subscribers for that 1 gig, as I had explained. So most of the time, that's as far as I would say you'd want to push it. And most ISPs will never really, advertise that. Some would say we don't contend your line and so on and so forth, but it's never really the case. They do contend it, like it or not, unless you've got corporate or business 1-to-1 fiber line. That's literally 1-to-1, meaning from point A data center to you, it's only you using that fiber, that pipeline. You're just alone there. So that's how you're going to need to break down how you'd want to have packages and so on and so forth. And it also goes back to your tower equipment and how many users it can hold. You need to think, if you're going to have 50 meg packages and your equipment can only go so far, that means you're going to have less clients. So if you have your 10 meg, your 20 meg package, for me, I think that's fair enough, depending on obviously your target market. If you've got a target market in very affluent suburbs, their houses are smart houses, they use a lot of bandwidth just on standby for their cameras, their IoT devices, their lights, their gate motor, you know what I mean? Just on standby, on idle. When nobody's at home, they're using 20 megs for all of those devices. Then you'd want to give 50, 100 meg packages in such places, and you'll charge for that. And even if you have 100 customers on one access point or per base station, you know that you'll be making enough money in terms of that. So yeah, those are the vibes. That's sort of how you do things in terms of that. And you must look at your target market, what they need, and the price points, if they'll be good for those people. Now I think I'll be answering the last question. I don't want to drag this video for too long. All right, I'll be answering this question by Kali Rendwe Nemangani. His question is, can you assign clients with their own public IP addresses? The question is yes, but first you need to own your own public IP address block, and knowing that those resources are very scarce now, especially IPv4, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. A lot of people are obviously migrating to IPv6, and there is a body that sells us those IP addresses. It's called Afrinic. That's where you're going to get your ASN number first, as well as buying your own public IP address block. So when people do a speed test, they see your name there, and so on and so forth. Now, we do give our clients public IPs, but because we've got a small block and we wouldn't like to use it willy-nilly, we mostly use it on our own network, getting from data center to towers and so on and so forth. We prefer to sell our IPs to certain customers, also corporate customers that have one-to-one connections. Those are the only customers who would actually give public IPs. But everybody else, they're good natting over one public IP that's on your tower, for example. And they'd be using private IPs within the network from their router, that private IP, to the main tower, public IP, and then it goes to the internet like that. And things just become simple. So the last question that I'll be answering is, a lot of people have also been getting in touch about courses and maybe me assisting them in terms of mentorship and things like that. As I said, I will be generating books, ebooks and courses. It's just that it takes some time to do very in-depth information. However, I am about to complete the Wireless ISP Cookbook ebook, and it'll be available for all of you. Now, when it comes to mentorship and things like that, it's a bit tricky. It has to be paid, and I'm still trying to formulate a good way for people to be able to pay or afford those payments. Since we are at 2,000 subscribers now, and I thank you very much for subscribing to the channel, it means we can also offer things like memberships. So maybe I'll consider doing courses for the members that will join the membership. We'll probably do maybe like a live stream every Friday or whenever. They'll specifically be for the members. where we can talk to each other, ask questions, and I answer some questions like I've done in this video. Or I can just have an entire course for the members to go through at a specific date and time, and we just do it. So yeah, those are the options that are coming. But with all that said, I'd like to thank you for viewing, investing in your time by viewing this video, and most definitely do like, do share it, and do subscribe so more people can get this rich content that you've been viewing. Obviously, YouTube likes people's channels who are being subscribed to, being liked, and the videos being shared. Don't forget, guys, comment below, drop me an email, info@kopanoramashala.co.za, and just one smallanyana thing that I want to mention. If you want detailed information that'll require me to spend my time, and that is i.e. consulting, guys, it won't be for free. You're gonna need to pay for that. I'm already doing a great service to you over these YouTube videos, which also do take a lot of my time. And yeah, the only way that you'd be able to secure me, for me to actually dive deep into things for you, into detail the way you'd like in terms of consulting, you're gonna have to pay. There's also a link in my description to my Stand store, and there is a one-on-one consultation there for you to get. And with all that said, I'd like to say thank you again. Till next time.